The House with Laughing Windows is a masterclass in suspense, storytelling, and terror. It's a shining example of giallo cinema and ranks among the genre's very best. Honestly, it's one of my all-time favorite horror films, and yet barely anyone ever talks about it. I still remember the first time that I watched it. I was stunned it hadn't received more attention. You would think director Pupi Avati would be mentioned in the same breath as Argento or Fulci, but outside of Italy, his name rarely comes up in horror conversations. Maybe that's because Avati didn't stick to just one genre. With over 60 directing credits to his name, only about a half a dozen are horror films. His work across multiple genres and mediums might explain why he hasn't received the attention that he truly deserves from horror fans. Today we're gonna dig into one of Avati's other horror films, Zeder, also known as Revenge of the Dead from 1983. Often considered his other genre masterpiece, Zeder sits right alongside The House with Laughing Windows. Is Zeder proof that Avati knew how to unsettle an audience? Or will we find out why he isn't considered a horror master? I guess there's only one way to find out. Let's put that disc in and watch 1983's Zeder. Welcome to the Hellbound Horror Show. "1983 Zeder wastes no time before getting to the good stuff. We start in 1956. An old woman is looking for Mrs. Hubbard, who remains silent in her house, clearly afraid of something. Before I could even get comfortable in my own chair, the film launches into this harrowing sequence. Now that's how you start a movie. The whole opening is full of mystery with nothing really being explained. In the same house, two men wait downstairs while a girl sleeps in her room. We hear growling, and the floorboards begin to bend and crack. One of the men grabs the girl and takes her downstairs against her will. Items and objects around them rattle and shake. He keeps telling her to find where your hiding place is.
Show me where your hiding place is.
She falls to the floor and frantically starts to dig. He runs back upstairs, and when she's left alone, something in the dark attacks her. I have absolutely no idea what's going on, but I love it. When the man returns with the others, the girl's leg is destroyed and will have to be amputated. From the spot where she was digging, they find the remains of Paulo Zeder. Paulo Zeder was an interesting man who believed that life could continue after death. If buried in the right place, called a K-zone, a person might return from the beyond. He was so confident in his work that he buried himself. We cut to present day 1983 to find out more. Our story follows Stefano and Alessandra, a married couple. Alessandra gives Stefano an electric typewriter as a gift. She found it at an auction. It's very rare, almost one of a kind. That night, Stefano tries out his typewriter and finds a message inside of it written by the previous owner. That message talks about the belief of life after death and the possibility of coming back from the beyond. This gets Stefano curious. Very curious, and he begins to do some sleuthing. He finds out that the typewriter was owned by a priest. But as he learns this, he also stumbles upon yet another layer of the mystery. A group is trying to stop him. It's a scientific cult led by a woman with an amputated leg. Sound familiar? This cult is trying to use science to determine whether or not people can really return from the dead, and it appears the priest who owned the typewriter was on to Zeder's research. As Stefano uncovers more of the mystery, he draws closer and closer to the cult and brings himself, his friends, and his wife deeper into danger. The mystery is thick. The ending is great, packed with creepy moments and tied up with a bow. Will Stefano stop this cult before they raise the dead? And just how deep do these evil ties go? Find out in Zeder. Zeder is an uncanny, slow burn mystery filled with creepy moments and an overwhelming sense of dread. Zeder is also a mess. Let's get into it. First off, yes, Zeder is a low-budget movie which costs roughly $150,000 to make, but it doesn't look cheap. The locations are gorgeous, especially the building at the end. My God, this is great. The lighting is beautiful, the performances are strong, and the score is good. At no point when watching this did I ever think they had a small budget. When I say that this is an Italian horror film from the 80s, your brain should immediately think sex, gore, mystery, and beautiful locales. Zeder only delivers on the last two. There's no nudity and no gore. Instead, the story relies heavily on its mystery. While watching the film, I was hypnotized by it. It was captivating from start to finish. But after the credits rolled, I thought about it more and more, and maybe it's just me, but the movie didn't make a lot of sense. Like, why did Stefano throw away his life for this little mystery? Sure, it is appealing, but it becomes his life focus. Maybe it's a commentary on man's desire for knowledge and truth, and the lengths he'll go for answers. Maybe. I don't know. I love the opening scene. It's probably the best part of the movie, but I feel like not enough was connected back to it. Like, what other worldly powers did this amputee girl have? How do people find a K-zone where they could come back from the dead? Was the guy at the end Zeder or the priest? Man, I don't know. But does any of that really matter? I guess not. The film is still enjoyable, and some moments are beyond memorable. I'll never forget some scenes in The House with Laughing Windows, and the same can be said for Zeder. Some of these scenes will be etched into my brain forever. Speaking of memorable moments, let's talk about Stephen King. Did Stephen King rip off Zeder, or was it the other way around? In Zeder, someone buries a lost loved one in K-Zone soil, and they come back from the beyond in a scene very similar, almost beat for beat, to the one found in Pet Sematary. I won't spoil either film, but if you've seen both, you know the scene I'm talking about. Zeder was released a few months prior to Pet Sematary being published in 1983. Although Stephen King has said he started working on Pet Sematary in 1979, Zeder was also in development before its release. So, this falls in that strange space where two people from opposite sides of the world came up with the same idea at the same time. It's pretty wild, but it's not unbelievable. Zeder is a gorgeous movie made by a horror expert. It has many flaws, and it's honestly too slow for its own good. But the good here outweighs the bad. It doesn't hold a candle to The House with Laughing Windows, but it's a very solid, unique, and original take on familiar themes. I recommend Zeder if you're in the mood for a slow burn, beautifully shot and well executed mystery thriller that at times can crawl under your skin. And that's all I have for tonight. So thank you all so much for watching, and stay spooky, everyone. The next set of reviews are going to be a set of themed reviews, and that theme is fairy tale slashers. I'm super excited to dive into that strange world, and hopefully you subscribe so I see you there. You can see it in 2 weeks, or if you want to be a YouTube member, you can see it next week. I look forward to seeing you there. Have a good one.